on with another episode of Out and Up, where we encourage young athletes to achieve their very best outside of the game. And like every show, we're blessed to have another awesome guest. And y'all know how I do. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself.
Hey y'all, I'm Zahara Gerald. I'm a junior basketball player at Jack Britt High School.
Thank you, Zahara, for joining us. You ready to get into the questions?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's start off. Where are you originally born and raised?
I was originally born in Michigan, but moved to Fayetteville, North Carolina, when I was 3. So
that's cool. So you say you play basketball. When did you start playing basketball?
Started playing when I was around 6 or 7 years old.
All right. What position do you play?
I play guard.
All right. Have you ever played any other sports?
Yes, in the past I've ran track and played soccer.
All right. Now, has basketball always been your favorite sport, or did you just kind of get used to making that your main sport?
It's always been my favorite.
All right. What inspired you to start playing basketball?
When I was in after school, I one day picked up a basketball and just started shooting around and fell in love with the game ever since then.
All right. What are your biggest aspirations when it comes to the basketball? I know with most athletes, some people play it for the time being. Some people already, even at a young age, you being a junior in high school, what are your ultimate aspirations or goals when it comes to playing basketball?
My goal is to play Division I basketball, but after college, I will be done. I do not want to play professionally.
All right. So when it comes to school, do you have an idea of some things you're looking for when it comes to that school that you would like to go to?
Yes, I look for many things. I look for things such as the campus life, where it's located at, if it has my majors and my minors, and how the athletic program is there.
All right. So in playing basketball at such a high level, I think it is good. We're going to get into the academics. We're going to get into, even some things you do outside of sports and even your goals as far as maybe what you're going to major in and some of your career goals. But I know that you've been playing at a high level. You don't just go and play for a high school team and come home and that's it. I've had an opportunity to watch you on social media and just the work that you're putting in training and even in traveling ball. Outside of those things, what are some things that you do in your spare time?
I like to binge watch TV shows and movies and hang out with my friends when I can.
Cool. What are some of your favorite shows to watch?
Grey's Anatomy, Grownish, The Vampire Diaries. That's some of my favorites, basically.
All right. So when it comes to basketball, what have been some of your major accomplishments in basketball? You mentioned earlier that you're a junior at Jack Britt. However, I watched you be a part of a team that went on an awesome run last year at another school that you were at. And just outside of that, you can talk a little bit to that, the other school that you were at previously, but just what have been some of your major accomplishments over the years? It could have been in middle school. What have been some of your major accomplishments in basketball thus far?
Yes, in middle school, we went 2 years undefeated, won conference champs both those years. And in high school at Terry Sanford, I was on varsity as a freshman and sophomore, and we went undefeated and conference champs both those years. So.
Wow. And so what are your favorite? Everybody has, I think, the thing that they love most about the sport that they do. But as a basketball player, what's the key part to your game? Is it your handle? Is it shooting, defense, or is it a little bit of all of that? What is it that you enjoy most about basketball?
I think it's a little bit of all that, but I mainly enjoy defense, locking up a defender, stealing the ball, just going down, making the easy layup. That's a lot of fun for me.
That's good. So with the sport, with the show, let's just say, the goal is always just being able to highlight young athletes as yourself and just what their focuses are, even beyond the sport. I want players to reach their goals. For some players, they come on, whether it's a female basketball player in WNBA, the NBA, the young gentleman wanting to go to the NBA. Same thing with the football. People having aspirations to play professionally. But you cleared it up, even on this, that you really enjoy the sport that you're playing. but you have a goal to play throughout college and play Division I ball, but you have goals outside of that. So what are some things that you look at? I don't know if you locked in what you want your major to be, but like, what are some other career things you look at getting into outside of the sport?
Yes, I want to major in business and then go to dental school after that and eventually open up my own dental practice somewhere along the East Coast.
All right. So when it comes to school, are you looking to stay close to the Fayetteville, North Carolina area, or are you open to even going pretty far, traveling away from home to play ball?
I'm open to going pretty far, but mainly I want to stay along, the East Coast, Midwest area.
All right. So I like to touch a little bit, especially with our high school athletes, because as the platform continues to grow, I know at some time we're going to have young middle schoolers or even maybe parents of some young, even younger kids get to watch clips of the shows and the interviews. I want to ask, like, what was some of the obstacles you may have faced transitioning from middle school into high school basketball? Did you face any obstacles?
Yes, I faced many obstacles. Considering it was COVID, transferring from in-person classes to online classes, and then going to practice from home, which is 30 minutes away from my house. That was a lot of obstacles, especially the in-person learning to online learning. That was the biggest obstacle for me.
All right. And so I touched on it earlier. And I think as we were talking about basketball, I didn't really go in depth, but like, what have some of your experiences been when it comes to travel ball? Because I know you've been busy. I'll be honest, Zahara, we've been trying to make this interview work for like over the last year. We might have started the end of the first season, early second season, but here we are in the third season. And I feel like Zahara Gerald is a rock star because I had to track her down, but we made it happen. We finally here. We got the interview locked in and we're here. But you've been busy in travel ball. So like, what has that experience been like? And I guess as a second part to the question, tell a young athlete how important it is to even involve themselves with the travel basketball circuit versus just mainly focusing on their school teams.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun for me, traveling to different tournaments in different states. Yeah, but traveling outside of, school ball and Fayetteville, North Carolina area, it's good to travel out into different states, get different competition, put yourself in front of different college coaches, because it's better to be everywhere, get in front of everybody just a little bit.
Gotcha. With travel ball and the time that you've been able to experience that, like even in this last season, you're now in the school year, but you just finished traveling ball during the summer. Like, what were some of the awesome places or some of the most enjoyable trips that you were able to take in this last season of travel ball?
Definitely the most enjoyable would have been when we played at Nike Nationals in Chicago, Illinois. That was the best time. We've also traveled to Richmond, Virginia, Charlotte, Raleigh, Winston-Salem. But that's about it. But Chicago was definitely the most enjoyable.
All right. And the good thing is you got to go to Chicago while the weather wasn't bad. You had to go there while it was freezing cold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. I think it's awesome. What are some players, I would assume when you travel, are there some players that you can remember that you had a chance to meet that may be playing at a high level throughout the country? I don't know. Were there any some names there from players that seeing playing on high levels, different places?
I saw a couple big name players there, but unfortunately I did not have the chance to speak with them. But they were definitely there, and I realized firsthand, how good they were, and that's who I want to be, or that's who I aspire to be like.
Got you. So what are the things you do outside of, just the playing of traveling ball and high school ball? What are some of the things that you try to do to kind of really help build your game and make you better in different areas? What are some personal things you may do around the house, in the gym? What are some things you work on?
Training. I also have a goal in my backyard. I go out there on my off days, but training in the gym, just whenever I get in there, going as hard as I can. That.
All right. So I always like to ask the young athlete, like, do you do any in your spare time, or there players that are like your favorite player that you may watch and kind of try to learn things from? from a student of the game standpoint? Are there some players that you look at and watch and, admire their games?
Yes. One NBA player I admire is Stephen Curry. He's a great shooter. I aspire to be a great shooter like him. But just seeing how no one really believed in him. He went to a mid-major D1 school, and now he is one of the greatest shooters in the NBA of all time.
But that's true. And I can say, from experience, I didn't make it to a lot of games, but I made it to a couple of Terry Sanford games. And let's just say, you all, I got to see Miss Gerald put that ball in the hoop from outside the three-point line several times. And as we kind of finish up on the basketball, and I want to get into a few other things before we wrap it up, but you've had to overcome some obstacles, even with that a lot of athletes don't always get to face. And to see you play when I saw you play just showed your hard work in returning. If I remember correctly, you did have an injury at some point, correct?
Yes, in September, I sprained my ankle. It was out for 6 games.
Okay. And so what was that like, just mentally getting back out there and regaining the confidence and the energy of working back on that injury that you had with the ankle?
No, it was tough at first going through rehab and everything, but eventually I just kept working on it, kept working out and getting my confidence back in. It was like I never hurt my ankle.
That's good. That's good. And again, I say, and seeing her in the couple games I saw last year, I can tell that she was definitely in that mode of getting back in the full swing. But if nothing else, I saw her several times just from the defensive end and even from the offensive end, just able to put that ball in the hoop from deep. And so, Zahara, keep up the great work from the basketball end, which I'm looking forward to seeing you in your transition this upcoming season. Really believe you're going to do awesome things on the court. I want to touch on just the school end, because the show is always encouraging young athletes to really see themselves and understand their identity outside of the sport. And so already you kind of touched on it, even in your immediate goals when it comes to the game. And your main focus is to make it D1. And that is your immediate goal right now. And so I think that's awesome. You already talked about what your career goals are outside of the game. But for young athletes to get to where you are, they have to understand, they have to address and be able to take care and handle things on the school end. So just for you, like, how important and being labeled as a student athlete, the student part comes first. So like, what drives you, and tell the young athlete, how important is it to focus on their school end of things and taking care of their grades first?
Yes, it is very important to focus on school. School comes before basketball any day of the week. You have to keep your grades up, keep on top of things, and yeah.
What are some skills that you use in making sure you maintain the balance so that you're, taking care of, just balancing the hard work and all the traveling that you've had to do with basketball and really playing at a high level from even high school ball to travel ball? Like, what are the things that you do during the school year to make sure that you have a regimen to stay on top of your grades?
One thing I do is I have a calendar I write down when everything is due, when practice are, where it is, where practice is, and that just keeps me on top of things, knowing when and where stuff is.
That's good. That's good. So, do you have any, short-term goals as far as your junior year, things that you would like to accomplish this junior season?
This junior season, I would like to win Player of the Year, Player of the Week, get Player of the Week multiple games, if I can become conference champs. That's
right.
The main goal, to become conference champs, win Player of the Year.
That's good. That's good. So again, I know that it takes hard work to get to those places. And so I've already, again, I think for any of those that don't know Miss Gerald, if you're able to catch some of the work that she's done as far as traveling or even the things that she do off the court, it takes work to get to those areas. And so we're looking forward to definitely Miss Gerald reaching and accomplishing some of those goals when it comes to preparing herself to really accomplish those goals that she set forth for herself. So I'll say, as we get close to closing, Miss Gerald, are there some things that you can give the young athlete about really putting the work in, since we were talking about it, putting the work in to really elevate their game and get better, whether it's from a dribbling standpoint, a shooting standpoint, just like some of the things that you've learned from training and things like that to make you better for the sport?
Yes, what I would like to give them is whenever you work out 100%, give it all you have, and you will begin to see results after that. Just give 100% every time you work out. It doesn't matter where you're doing it at, just give 100%.
All right. And so I think I want to touch a little bit on just the awesome season that you've been able to have over the last couple of years. Some young people aren't able to handle that. But I will ask you, as you transition, even in schools, like, what is it that helps to keep you focused and grounded, even saying, hey, I was able to accomplish some awesome things and as a team with my last couple seasons, like, what are some things that keeps you grounded and focused on just continuously working and getting better?
My parents they have always taught me to remain humble. So that's what I do. Just put my head down and keep working.
All right. And when it comes to the workout end, again, I always say that I talk to young athletes all the time, and that a coach and I think a parent can only push you so far. And your personal self, like, what is it that keeps you disciplined and gives you that drive to always want to keep working at the sport and getting better?
The goal is to go D1 and play Division I basketball. So whatever I have to do, the goal is to play Division I basketball. So I just have to keep working out, and eventually I will get there. And that keeps me disciplined, wanting to play Division I basketball.
That's good. That's good. So Zahara, I appreciate you joining us. And we got a couple questions I always end it with. I think I always say every show, I think as young athletes hear from different people, it helps, they'll be able to take a little bit from everybody. But I first want to ask you, how important is it to surround yourself with positive people?
It is very important. My dad always told me, you are who you surround yourself with. So I always try to surround myself with positive people and give out positive energy back.
That's good. That's good. Now let me ask you, I didn't ask this earlier. You talked a little bit about Steph, but do you have a favorite basketball team?
My favorite basketball team, it would have to be the Warriors. Just because Steph's on there. Just because Steph's on there.
Just because Steph is on it. So yes. So are you more of a Warriors fan or Steph fan?
I'm a Steph fan, but the Warriors are my favorite team just because he's on there.
Okay, well, the Warriors better watch out, because I think my Lakers at some point going to get it right, and we're going to be back in there. Do you like LeBron?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. We're both in the West, so we'll see what this season has to hope for us. I like Steph. I like the Golden State program and just what they've been able to do over the last couple of years. So again, I'm always one of those fans. Hey, the best team will always win. And so if Golden State is able to pull off another one, I think they're set up to win another couple in the next year. So they look pretty good this year. And I think they were just getting in their stride. So we might have to watch Golden State in there the next couple of seasons. Yeah. But I'm going to get into the last question. Who and what is it that inspires you in life?
I have to say my family inspires me. Seeing how hard they worked in school, how hard they worked in college to get where they are today. That just shows me that's where I want to be one day. Working hard in high school, working hard in college, to get where they are at.
That's good. That's good. Again, you all, we've been blessed to have another awesome young guest. Just give us just a few tips on what she does to stay on top of her game, her focus outside of the sport. Y'all know I always say, I would love to see everyone play at the goal or the highest level that they desire to play at. However, I think my heart is always concerned when our young athletes have no identity outside of the sport. So again, we're blessed to have a young guest in Miss Gerald who has aspirations outside of the sport. And she's been able to play at a high level, accomplish some great things in her years of playing basketball, have some goals she's already set in the next few years in basketball. However, she has her goals set for outside of life. And that's all I want to challenge our young athletes to do, is to know what you want to do and know who you are outside of the sport. So we thank you, Zahara, for joining us. I appreciate you for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And you all know I always cover this at the end of the show. It is good to be great in that sport that you're playing, but it's even better to be great in life. So I challenge you, if you're really trying to achieve your best outside the game, continue to join us as we go out and up. Have a good one, and we'll see you next episode.